Hello and welcome to our webinar, Cloud Transformation with Virtual Storage as a Service, brought to you by Hitachi Vantara. I'm your host, Katie Bavoso from the Channel Company. The acceleration of digital transformation has caused an explosion of new data and a critical need to store it all. This presents solution providers and MSPs with an immense opportunity to grow their customer bases. Additionally, the rise in popularity of consumption-based and subscription-based offerings has led as-a-service offerings to account for approximately 60% of channel partner revenues, according to iPad Consulting. Hitachi Vantara is prepared to help partners take advantage of this opportunity with a new offering called Virtual Storage as a Service. Joining me now to discuss this further is Trevor Williams, Global Sales Director for Cloud and Managed Service Providers, and Glenn Lomond, Global Architect and Advisory, both at Hitachi Vantara. Welcome to both of you, Trevor and Glenn.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you, Katie. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you both. Let's get started with our first segment, the new demands of digital transformation. So, Trevor, what are you seeing in the market as far as data center modernization needs?
Well, I think, Katie, as we see organizations developing their business transformation processes, data center modernization is certainly one of the key areas that is top of mind. We are seeing more and more organizations challenged with reducing operational efficiency as well as their technical complexity. They are looking to improve asset utilization and decrease their time to market for new applications to meet the needs of their customers' requirements. This drive for data center modernization includes leveraging private, hybrid, as well as multi-cloud deployment models. It helps organizations put the right resources for the right applications for the most effective use of those apps. Ultimately, the move to focus on technology acquisition to that really more of business outcomes are the key requirements of lots of organizations that are going through that business transformation phase. And of course, leveraging cloud economics is key to enabling this, not purely from a cost management perspective, but how cloud economics drives that organization.
Let's follow up on that a little bit, Trevor. What are businesses looking to invest in as digital transformation continues to accelerate? And what are channel partners looking for to meet these demands?
Well, organizations are always seeking new ways to deploy infrastructure in a cost-effective manner so they can focus on innovation. And innovation really is the key here, Katie. But as a service, consumptions rather than capital acquisitions are top of mind for many organizations. That helps them to control their assets and play a key role in managing those assets on behalf of the business for the future. It's one way that organizations are looking to solve many of these challenges today. And these same organizations, as they divest themselves from this technical and operational complexity, are looking for partners, channel partners, organizations who want to take on more responsibility to help those organizations to solve some of those technological and operational challenges, but using also a shared risk, shared reward model that can help an organization move from the traditional way of their delivering IT, as well as moving towards a more collaborative model on that shared risk, shared reward model.
Glenn, let's get you involved in the conversation here.
Sure.
Now, let's talk about the common challenges of traditional cloud-based storage solutions. They're meant to solve a problem, but of course, they come with their own issues as well. Tell me about the challenges.
Yeah, they absolutely do come with their issues, Katie. I mean, historically, Hitachi has been delivering private cloud-based storage for many years, at least in terms of custom managed services. But today, we really need to factor in public cloud storage models as well. I mean, this model has been around for a number of years now, so we need to consider that. If we look at, if we break them down, if we look at custom managed services, they typically take a long time to architect, both technically and financially, certainly as well to deploy. But the benefit is that there are some very specific custom capabilities that come out of that deployment. The drawback, however, is that they are resource heavy, professional services heavy, and this adds cost and inflexibility when deploying the model. If we look at public cloud storage, on the other hand, it's designed for one size fits all. I mean, it is intended to offer low cost of entry, but it can certainly easily become a high cost service if that service is actively used across multiple applications. So moving, and this is no surprise, I mean, moving data out of public cloud certainly can be very costly. I mean, I think that's a well-known phenomena today, and that's really there without question. But also public cloud storage doesn't really, and it's not easily meeting some of the strict security and compliance needs for many of our customers and their applications. So recently, and you've mentioned this in the introduction, virtual storage as a service, and Hitachi Vantara has introduced this, specifically designed to fill that gap between the two. It provides the security and compliance of private cloud, plus the rapid deployment of public cloud that enables fast time to market.
We're actually going to dive further into virtual storage as a service right now, Glenn, in segment 2, a new way to store data. So Glenn, you touched on it there, but let's dive deeper. What is Hitachi Vantara virtual storage as a service?
Well, that's a great segue, Katie. Love to talk about that. So Hitachi Virtual Storage as a Service, or what we call virtual STaaS, is about blending the best of both worlds that I talked about a little bit earlier, meaning that it provides the benefit of custom cloud storage and public cloud storage together. So fundamentally, it is a cloud-based storage solution residing either on premises or co-located at a partner data center or even hosted by a service provider. It provides a self-service SaaS, software as a service interface for centralized management and is designed with enterprise class reliability. It includes a pre-integrated solution architecture and is offered through an as-a-service consumption, pay-as-you-go model with flexibility to start small and to expand. So from a market perspective, though, if we look at the market as a whole, we're really targeting the mid-market with this solution. We've packaged it with different capacity levels. We packaged it as private and hybrid cloud for deployments for each individual customer. It covers general use cases that can include medium to high performance needs. So it really is designed to fit that general use case. And the solution is service level based, as you would expect for any as a service offering. And it includes commitments from Hitachi Vantara for capacity, performance, and response times. And from a go-to-market perspective, I think this is really important, Katie, is that it includes partnering with cloud service providers so that we can provide the best of both worlds to our customers. Hitachi leading storage technologies delivered as a service, coupled with our strategic cloud service providers, operational management, and consulting services expertise. So overall, if I could phrase it in one sentence, virtual storage as a service is a purpose-built hybrid cloud storage solution delivered on a consumption basis offered through the Hitachi Vantara partner ecosystem.
Whew, Glenn, thank you so much. That was very much an in-depth overview and I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We're going to go back to Trevor now. And Trevor, what I'm looking to find out is what customer need does virtual storage as a service address?
Katie, I think we've heard many examples of this so far. Now, of course, the move from a technology acquisition to more of a strategic outcome-based solution that is more tightly controlled through SLAs for capacity, for performance, support, and response times are really important. It also gives our clients an OPEX-based, consumption-based model that would alleviate their CapEx spend burden that they have had in the last number of years in acquiring technology. Lots of organizations now are moving towards a more OPEX-based consumption model. CapEx is starting to decline over the last number of years, with more of an OPEX-based model for organizations who like to pay as they go, pay as they grow, pay as they consume technology from their technology vendors. This will enable them to really streamline their need, also based on what they actually have on a data center floor. However, it's really down to organizations to make sure that that capacity is there when they need it. And so some of the things and some of the examples that you've seen already today are really about how we make sure that technology and capacity is there on a just-in-time basis. We at Hitachi Vantara will help our partners to ensure that the right capacity is there for our consumers when and where they need it, by us taking some element of commercial risk to ensure that they don't run out of capacity.
Glenn, how does virtual storage as a service stand out from storage options on the market today?
Well, Katie, the key for us is that it's partner-led. This is a high priority for us. Unlike many of our competitors in this space who believe that they can control the entire storage lifecycle, we're leveraging our partner ecosystem to offer our customers both choice and service provider expertise. These are the things we believe our customers are looking for. No one company, no one vendor, no one customer can do these things alone. It really is all about partnership. And in addition, the automation and the AI that we've included within the service itself enables our partners and customers as an example, to have delivery within up to 14 days. And we enable them to get up and running within hours from on-site deployment. And that's a big departure from traditional models where it can often take weeks or even months. So this we see as a huge value.
Trevor, what flexibility does virtual storage as a service offer your service provider partners? It really is in the name there as well, but what else comes with that?
So a very, very clear commercial model underpins everything that we do at Hitachi Vantara. That's first and foremost. Pay as you grow, pay as you go, as I mentioned in my last segment, is really important to a lot of our service providers because their customers are expecting the same from those service providers. And so therefore, those service providers want to reduce as much as their commercial risk as possible. So therefore, things like no upfront payments, no hidden payments. You heard before some of the attacks about removing data or moving data off-prem back into the data center through a public cloud environment. And of course, they want to be assured that there are no upfront fees, no hidden fees, no backline fees. And that's some of the key core competencies that we bring today. But also the ability to bundle our flexible consumption model beyond storage into compute, into content and other solutions in the Hitachi Vantara portfolio. But the virtual storage as a service solution is the foundation stone of the offering. So therefore, we can deliver to our clients a choice of contract terms, a choice of flexible contract terms, and of course, our distribution partners who would typically take our solution and pass that on to those service providers are part of that chain. They are brought into the commercial model that we have created to allow us to flow through those contract terms through our distribution partners and into our service providers with minimal risk. So if an organization is unable to pay their bills, we have protection mechanisms already built in to ensure that those service providers do not go unpaid.
So important in today's environment. And speaking about pay, Trevor, how can partners grow their bottom line and stay competitive in the storage market by offering virtual storage as a service?
Well, as I mentioned in my previous answer, it's key for our partners to use the virtual storage service as a platform. Things such as assessments, things such as consultancy, creating hybrid cloud solutions, multi-cloud solutions, with that virtual storage as a service as a foundation. Built on top of that, with our flexible consumption models that enables them to acquire that solution with minimal commercial risks. So therefore, an organization can do two things. One, which is a technology build and the operational components that enable that solution to be delivered to the end client. But secondly, making sure that they can deliver that in a commercial construct that is easy on the wallet, easy on the organization. As I mentioned before, there's a lot of sunk costs expected of a service provider when they're delivering those services to an end client. We're here to try and help alleviate that by matching the end client's requirement on how they consume technology right the way back to Hitachi Vantara. And that's why the flexible consumption model that we flow through our distribution partners to our service provider partners is really critical to their success. And that is why we create these differentiated commercial services that's going to enable our service provider to deliver more as a service offerings to their customers.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Trevor. And that brings us into segment 3, an ideal support system with Hitachi Vantara. Glenn, you've got the first question in this segment. What support does Hitachi Vantara offer partners in relation to virtual storage as a service?
Well, Katie, this is probably the simplest answer for all of the questions that we had. From a Hitachi perspective, it's enterprise class support. I mean, it's really that simple. I mean, first and foremost, we are the direct line of support for our partners. First line support. So that means 7/24, 365, both the systems are deployed as well as the fact that we monitor them continuously. So we're offering them, first of all, a 100% data availability guarantee, and that's backed up with strict service level guarantees for performance and support response times. So very simple enterprise class support.
And Glenn, this isn't the only pay-per-use model from Hitachi Vantara. You also offer Everflex consumption. What is Everflex consumption and who is it designed for?
So absolutely, Katie. Everflex, however, is not a separate offering. Everflex is our umbrella brand for all of the current and future X as a service offerings from Hitachi Vantara. So what does this mean? Well, we offer two types of solutions within Everflex. First, predefined and prepackaged offerings such as virtual storage as a service. For example, with virtual storage as a service, we include standardized rate cards that make pricing simple and transparent. But we also, as a second part within the Everflex umbrella, we offer customized services. That enables us to develop pretty much any service offering from any of our technologies that we can deliver to our partners and to our customers. Now, when we look at Everflex as a whole, it really represents consumption. It is all about as a service. And this looks at each customer and each partner requirement individually, and then allows us to build these unique architectures, whether they be customized or whether the customer really needs more of a go-to-market really quickly with a standardized set of offerings and a unique set of SLAs to meet their specific requirements. The overall perspective that we can deliver from Everflex is that it can include as much or more storage as needed and crosses all of our technology across the board. So where virtual storage as a service is about getting to market and revenue really quickly, Everflex consumption, more of a customized model, is about accommodating individual and differentiated needs.
And may I add, the flexibility. So if our partners are looking to increase their capacity, naturally, we can help them grow into that new capacity. But sometimes some of those partners may need to decline or remove some of that capacity. So within our virtual STAS environment, it will allow our clients to reduce the amount of capacity with minimal risk to their business.
And Trevor, we're going to go back to you for this next question, actually. How does the Everflex consumption sales model differ for partners?
Well, the good news there, it does not. The key here is to ensure that our terms around Everflex flow through nicely through our distribution partners into our partner community. We want to make sure that there is a single way to consume technology from Hitachi Vantara in a standardized motion. And I think that's what our partners are asking us for. If we start to create different types of models, I think we just essentially complicate the overall model. But not only is the Everflex consumption model that we've created flows through to our partners and through our distribution community, but as I said, the same legal principles also apply. So therefore, if a client wants to flex up, if the client wants to flex down, there is no difference between what we do with our direct clients as well as our end user clients. So building out standardized rate cards, as Glenn had mentioned previously in his answer, also building predefined rate cards based on a larger requirement that the customer may have can also be accommodated in the same standardized manner.
And Glenn, going back to you for this next one, how will consumption models like Everflex and as a service models in general, like virtual storage as a service, help your partners in a post-COVID world and then into the future beyond that?
I'm going to echo what Trevor mentioned a little bit earlier. It's becoming clear that cloud-based consumption is here to stay. You know, the market is transitioning more and more in this direction, and where it's going to end up from a traditional, capital expenditure to an operational expenditure, we're not really sure yet, but it's important to know that customers and partners alike are looking for these different types of buying models. But certainly not all partners nor their customers will consume technology through consumption. But there continues to be an increasing demand in the market, and we want to make sure that we address that, and Everflex does that, and all of the Everflex offerings. It's becoming clear, as you mentioned, from post-COVID as an example, post-COVID will continue to be unpredictable for a number of years. It's hard to believe, but every time things seem to be getting back to normal, another wave of uncertainty hits us. I mean, look what's happening now in terms of the Delta variant as an example. But this means unpredictability, it means uncertainty, and no one likes uncertainty, Katie. I mean, that's a fact. I mean, Everflex as a service, the models that it deploys gives our partners the confidence that Hitachi's behind them by taking a lot of that uncertainty out of the equation by sharing the risk with them. So they don't have to go it alone. And we really want to build the business with them long-term. And that's really what we're trying to do here.
Well, Glenn, Trevor, we've spoken a lot about virtual storage as a service today and really got to know it, got to learn about it. But of course, there's going to be lingering questions from our audience. So Trevor, where can partners and interested solution providers learn more?
Thanks again, Katie, and appreciate the question. It's really important. So the easy thing to do is go to www.hitachivantara.com. Or if you want to contact us, you can contact us at cspinformation@hitachivantara.com. Our team of sales, business development people, and professionals will be only too happy to help anybody who has any questions around the virtual storage as a service and provide them with all the details they require to help them on their journey to acquiring technology and using some of the Everflex and consumption models, as well as virtual STAs that we've discussed here today.
Thank you both so much, Trevor, Glenn, for your time today. And thank you, of course, at home for joining our webinar. Once again, I'm Katie Bavoso. Thanks for watching.